Welcome, Catherine, to onrichmondhill.com's Candidate Conversations.
Thanks, Marge. Thanks for hosting me. It's wonderful to be with you.
Yeah, again, it's very good that you could make time for this. Okay, I have 4 main questions for you, followed by 7 fun facts, fun questions for let people get to know you. So let's start with our main questions. First one, what are your concerns with the climate crisis?
Marge, that's a great question. The Ontario Party, like most Canadians, is concerned with how we're taking care of the environment. And our top 3 priorities is to have clean water, clean soil, and clean air. With regard to clean water, there's currently billions of liters of raw, untreated sewage being pumped into Ontario's pristine rivers and lakes. And the first thing we'll do is ban the dumping of untreated waste into bodies of water. Currently, there's billions of liters happening per year in Canada. And we would provide funding to municipalities so that they could be helped in dealing with storm surges or upgrading their sewage treatment. With regards to clean soil, currently there's no right to repair laws. In other words, a lot of farmers, for example, on their machinery, they have to just replace it and aren't allowed to repair it. So we would have right to repair laws where appliances and equipment is kept out of landfills, which would include managing the inefficient wind turbines, which currently only generate about 1.4% of Ontario's total power, but they cost 20% of the budget. So that doesn't make much sense. When it comes to clean air, the Ontario Party will find more environmentally friendly pest control solutions instead of spraying poisonous pesticides through the airborne systems. And obviously we want to protect more of the green spaces across Ontario and pass legislation which further protects the green belt. As everybody knows, there's a time the escalating inflation and high energy costs are becoming prohibitive on many Ontarians, and we will scrap the carbon tax, both provincially and industrially, as well as challenging it at a federal level. We would immediately eliminate PST on gasoline and diesel, which would save 16 cents per litre, and be able to manage our energy as well as taking care of our environment, but not at the expense of obviously Ontarians prospering.
Thank you for that response. Next question. The pandemic exposed some cracks in our healthcare system. What changes would you like to see made to make things better?
Yes, Marja, the pandemic, as we know, was devastating in so many ways. And in terms of our healthcare system, we can see that it's overpriced and underperforming, and wait times have extended exponentially. In 1993, 30 years ago, Ontarians waited about 9 weeks to see a specialist, whereas in 2021, the average waiting time is around 26 weeks. And we have fewer physicians, fewer acute care beds, fewer medical technologies, and all that needs to be improved. So as a government, the Ontario Party will explore alternative methods of care that, like those strategies that are used in other countries, other first world countries like Australia, France, New Zealand, for example. They maintain their universal healthcare system where all have accessibility, but they also have a private sector that has a role in delivering hospital and surgical care. As some people move into the private sector, that means the public sector has less wait times, there's more availability, and this could significantly reduce wait times. I think another significant area that needs help is bringing back all doctors and nurses who were unreasonably fired for their personal choices during the pandemic. That we have a lot of immigrants who are foreign trained healthcare professionals, and their wait time to receive accreditation is so unrealistic, and we could be having these experts trained and in place working in our medical field. Medical schools, we need to have more slots opened. Many of our young, smart Canadians are traveling to the Caribbean to become doctors, and then they take up residency in the United States. So I think overall, as we would work towards having a balanced healthcare system, we would eliminate some of the undue excess pressure which is placed on our healthcare system.
Thank you for that response. Third question. What role should online learning have for students in elementary and high school?
Marja, I think you and I would both agree that the pandemic has exposed many failures. And one thing it showed is that online learning is definitely not the most optimal way to learn for students. There's no data that COVID-19 affected children or teenagers. However, the lockdowns really impacted our children. The younger children have now delayed developmental milestones as a result of not being taught in person. I had a man whose daughter suffered in grade 1, suffered mental health issues because of being kept at home. Grade 1. With teenagers, suicide attempts are up 800%. And I'm not even mentioning the increased addictions, increased depression that is associated because they were kept out of school, not allowed to do extracurricular activities, whether arts or sports. And so the online system, not only does it place an additional stress on our children, but it places undue pressure on our teachers who have to concurrently teach in the classroom and teach online. Now, it doesn't mean that all students don't thrive in an online environment. And so as an Ontario party, we would definitely want to provide the opportunity if children would choose to study online. Currently, $12,500 is spent per student per year by the government. And we would recommend taking a third to 2/3 of that money and saying, parents, you choose what's the best way to teach your children. Would you want to homeschool them, private school them, do them online, be a charter school? And then parents of children with special needs who choose to do that will receive additional funding to support their children in the classroom, because we know that online learning does not help children with special needs either. So I think we have to look at the whole schooling system as in a holistic way and see how we can help the parents, the teachers, and the students.
Okay, thank you for that very thorough response. Our fourth and final main question. What can the provincial government do to make housing more affordable here in our riding?
Margie, touching on all the hot topics today. I can see you've done your homework. So yes, housing is definitely not affordable for the younger generation. I have young adult children, and I know they won't be able to purchase a home in Richmond Hill like my husband and I did 21 years ago. Home prices in Ontario in the last 10 years have risen 180%, but the average incomes have only gone up 40%. Just in the last year or two, average price has gone up 25%, and the average home in the province is now above $1 million. So what working class Canadians can afford a place to raise their own family? I believe a direct reason for this is that there's supply of homes is too low and the demand is high, which is thanks to our current government, who has, instead of opening up opportunities to have houses which can accommodate not just single family homes, but duplexes and fourplexes, the government has forbidden the building of those homes through prohibitive zoning regulations. So a good way of solving this would be, in addition, increasing the zoning orders to allow duplexes and fourplexes to be available in certain zoning areas. And of course, we would also take away the purchase of Ontario homes by foreign owners. We would have a no-nonsense ban. We have many foreign owners coming in, purchasing properties, investing in 50 to 100 houses and charging rent at inflated rates. And we believe that if you live and work in Ontario, you should be able to own a home. And that, then we work with municipalities and key stakeholders in areas which have been identified as sprawling urban development. We work to include long-term care facilities, schools, hospitals, transit, and of course to protect our green spaces. And when you look at this as a holistic action plan working with the municipalities, we could help alleviate the current housing crisis.
Thank you very much for that very thorough response. So move on to the second part, our 7 fun facts. Okay, we'll do this quickly and with a smile. Okay, what is your favorite color?
My favorite color would have to be midnight blue.
Okay, what is your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Funnily enough, I don't actually like ice cream. I prefer mousse, but if I had to choose a flavor, it is going to be Dutch chocolate.
Mm, okay. Have you ever driven a motorcycle?
Many, many, many years ago, I drove a motorcycle, and the first time I did, I suffered third-degree burns as I fell on the bicycle, the motorbike, and the exhaust burnt the inside of my leg.
Ooh,
So not since
okay.
then, not since then.
Okay. Do you ever wear socks that are mismatched?
That's so funny. Very rarely. If I know nobody will notice and I'm desperate, but otherwise, no. Matching socks from beginning to end.
What is your favorite genre of music?
I sound like a politician here, but this is not my intent. How I like music that matches my mood at the time. There's so many great genres of music. I can't pick one. So whatever matches the atmosphere, that's the music I go with. I'm not picky.
Okay, like that. Can you play any musical instruments?
I can probably play basic piano, not as well as my kids, but I love to sing. So I'm going to say my choice of musical instrument is my voice. Whether other people like it or not, I like to sing.
Okay, like that. And lastly, do you chew gum?
Sometimes, but especially when I'm doing exercise or go for a walk, because I like to keep my mouth moist and fresh.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much for participating and answering these questions. I wish you well on this campaign.
Thank you, Marge, and thank you for taking the time to help inform the Richmond Hill residents of about the different parties and their platforms. I really appreciate all the work you do for Richmond Hill. Much appreciated.
You're very welcome.